Welcome to the Retro Blood.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Retro Blood. As we finish up this part 2, exploring 1980s ghost movies, talking about the ghostly figures that will haunt your dreams, your nightmares. They'll haunt you when you're trying to have sex on a cruise ship. They will come after you in all types of ways. They will even pour all types of blood on you. They will do all their ghostly magic to make sure that you're having a bad time during this experience in the 80s. Because we're finishing up Ghost Month Part 2, talking some huge battleships. We're talking some couple who doesn't know if they want to be a couple. Then the girl gets locked into some shower with blood all over that wasn't Italian blood.
That was awesome.
We're talking a marshal who is getting railed the whole time by, at this point in 1980, has to be the most deadliest horror movie villain. Move over Michael Myers that we saw in the 70s. Move over all those guys from Hills Have Eyes that we saw in 1970. Hell, even move over Jason's mom. We don't need you. All right? Because the Retro Blood is talking about the deadliest villain of the 1980s, Captain Ashland.
Yes, the captain of the death ship.
The death ship captain, haunted by German Nazis. Because the Retro Blood is going to be talking all about Death Ship. J.H. Alison, James Kline. What's up, Alison? How was your ride on the Death Ship? Did you have a good time?
Man, it was awesome. I love this movie. That was great.
You didn't like it, though, at first.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I didn't know how I felt about it, but I decided I liked it a lot. It's a really good ghost movie. It's one of those ghost movies where not a whole lot happens in it for a really, really long time. And then it kind of just get...
Yeah. You know, this reminded me of a little bit, very little bit.
What?
So we have this... So the guy, this whole movie I thought was like, okay, like you were saying, I thought it was okay. It was kind of weird in certain parts.
Yeah.
But this fucking Captain Ashland guy was cracking me up the whole fucking movie. He was he was like one of them cartoon villains you would see, you know what I mean? And fucking
I can see
old
that.
school Batman and stuff like that.
I can see that.
He kind of reminded me of Cochran from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like just like this like over the top villain guy, prickly about everything. Now, here in the Retro Blood, we fly on by. I guess like it's kind of funny though, because they had his character Ashland be like a prickly captain at the beginning on the regular cruise ship or whatever. And he didn't want to go to the over 50 club and shit like that. But then he got rescued and put onto the deathly German ship. Okay.
Yeah.
And like he was just the same he was just prickly an asshole. So
he did his personality didn't change much when he got possessed.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting of how they like they were supposed to like betray his character. Like, oh, he's possessed, that's why he's an asshole. Like, no, he was always an asshole from the beginning.
He was just always an asshole, yeah.
So we've been waiting to do this one for a while. So.
Yeah, and we need to explain to the people why we're actually doing this show, because remember we were supposed to do Ghost Keeper this week.
Well, the Retro Blood, we're hard workers over here, and
we've done a lot of shows.
Yeah, and when I was trying to do some research, I was like, I think we had a couple other ones in mind, like the Ripper and everything, Ghost Keeper, like all these other ones that you sent me. So for some reason I picked Ghost Keeper, even though we already did that. It was episode 14. So it's a little bit of a mistake.
Episode 14.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to hear us talk about Ghost Keeper, you can go back 3 years and listen to it on episode 14, which I believe was one of the first good audio episodes that we had. I'm pretty sure that's right after I changed audio to get a real mic and a headset. So I think that was one of the early good episodes, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ghost Keeper was a good movie. Yeah. Ghost Keeper was a good movie. I really liked it. And I thought it sounded really familiar.
Yeah.
When I was talking about it, and like, oh yeah, I've seen that movie before. But yeah. Anyway, so now you get kind of a double. So if you're a new fan, you can go back and listen to us talk about Ghost Keeper from 3 years ago, and you can listen to us talk about Death Ship this week. We've talked about we wanted to do Death Ship for a long time.
Yeah, a long time. Like I'll post the Ghost Keeper on all the platforms, so y'all can check it out, and then obviously I'll post this one too. But just think, like, just James over here, me. What happened was I was on a cruise ship, and I got possessed.
Yeah.
By some Germans,
by Nazi,
and that made me think of this movie. You know what I mean? That's what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one's a good episode. That one is in audio form only. We've only started doing video kind of lately over here.
Yeah.
So, but I'll post them, both of us. Yeah, everybody can check it out. And of course, at the end of this episode, we will go over our Halloween October.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Month review. The anniversary of the show and our series long review should be really fun. And I'll be back finally in the Retro Blood Studios during the month of October. No more Australian background that I have here, even though that painting looks kind of cool behind me. I have no idea what it is, but there's some horses and shit on there. It looks kind of cool, I guess. So, technically, you guys can just think that I am in the Ghost Ship. I mean, I keep calling it Ghost Ship, even though there's a movie called Ghost Ship that was made in 2000.
Yeah.
I'm in the Death Ship right now, everybody. So just think about that. So, but everybody, like every single Retro Blood that we do, let's talk about what is going on in the world of the pro wrestling and the metal music around the release date. Now, there's 2 release dates that we found on here. Myself and Alison, we decided to do the one that took place in Texas and Florida. Just think about that. During 1980, if y'all lived in the great state of Texas and Florida, you would get to see the Ghost Ship. I keep calling it the Death Ship. You keep calling it the Death Ship.
The Death Ship.
You will see the Death Ship. All right, so I'll go first on here. And this is a discussion I wanted to talk to you about, Alison. I think it might be kind of fun for everybody here, too. All right. So, March 7th, 1980, in pro wrestling, all right, we actually had a WWF match, okay, between an early heelish Hulk Hogan with his manager, Freddie Blassie. All right. He was in a handicap match versus Ben Ortiz and Angelo Gomez. All right. So obviously we've talked about Hulk Hogan many, many times on this podcast. We even did a special tribute to Hulk Hogan after his passing on our episode of Conquest that we did last month. Everybody check that out. It's a really fun episode. But I don't want to talk about like necessarily Hulk Hogan, even though at this time it's a very interesting period for him because he's like a monster heel, or they're trying to get him over as a monster heel. But that's what I kind of want to talk to you about, Alison, the monster heel. Now, it's something, if you've been watching wrestling for as long as we have, it's something to see that they were doing the monster heel gimmick. And I feel like it all kind of started here with Hulk Hogan, because my point is, they have this huge dude, all right? They had him, on television, has the Incredible Hulk, 6'5", whatever, jacked to the gills, monster dude. And he would go out there, and, this is not like Hulk Hogan, that we all know right now. Like, Hulk Hogan didn't really start getting popular with the fans or anything until after Rocky III came out, and he had that that run in AWA. But this is the heel. This is the one where they were trying to get Hulk Hogan ready for Andre the Giant, so he can have a big guy to wrestle. So this formula, though, this is what I want to talk about. This formula, we have seen this formula even to this day. You know, you get a monster heel with the manager, and you have him go out there and squash two jobber baby faces. So we're doing the whole,
Right.
this guy is unstoppable. He could beat two men, not just one. So it's
Yes.
pretty interesting. This formula that they did in 1980 is still going on today in 2025. It's pretty crazy.
That is crazy. And I was going to ask, so is this really the first, like maybe the first monster heel that we ever had? Like we didn't do monster heels before this, really.
I mean, the only one I could think of that might have been a monster heel would be maybe Haystacks Calhoun, because he was a big old dude. You couldn't really get him off his feet. I know Fritz von Erich, which he would have fit in great with this movie, Fritz von Erich, because he played that German character. He was kind of a monster heel a little bit, but I don't remember the monster. I mean, 50s, 40s wrestling, I don't know too much about. I'm just throwing off the top of my head. You know, I can only think around this period where they had this incredible looking, man, like Hulk Hogan. They gave him a good mouthpiece. Okay. Freddie Blassie.
Yeah.
And Freddie Blassie's bringing him out there to showcase what a monster he is, that he could beat up two men. You know what I mean? Because basically, like I was saying, they were trying to get him ready to tour around with Andre the Giant. So this is the formula that I don't remember seeing before with anybody else, where you would have a manager bring your big ass heel out and then beat up a couple, two on one handicap matches, and then get him ready for a big top star, basically.
Yeah. The more I think about it, I think you're probably right, because you got to consider in the 40s and the 50s and before that, and the 60s even, wrestling was like a sport. I mean, it wasn't really a sport. I mean, it was predetermined, but it was presented as a sport. You know, there weren't really characters as much as they would become in the 70s, the 80s, and now. So yeah, you're probably right. Hogan was probably the first big monster heel, and you're right. They would continue to do that formula over and over again with King Kong Bundy and Andre later on, and today with Bronson Reed.
Yeah,
as a monster heel.
Exactly, because you got the manager Paul Heyman. You got the big monsters like Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. That's like if Paul Heyman brought up Bronson Reed and he beat up two guys. I mean, we've seen that over and over again, especially with the WWF. You know, we had Ryback out there beating up two guys. You had the Great Khali going out there beating up two guys. I mean, generations of these big monsters being presented like that. You know, Umaga was one of them too, going out there beating up two guys.
Umaga was
manager.
one of them.
You know what I mean? So that formula is like it's pretty interesting that formula, I think, obviously it could have came around the 70s or 75s, but that formula still works today. You have a big ass motherfucker, you give him a great manager, he goes out there and squashes two people to get him ready for the top star. That's the formula.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's such a thing even that it's hard for big men to become faces, because they automatically get sent into this heel zone. You know what I mean? If you're a big monster, then you're going to be heel. Braun
Strowman is another one.
Braun Strowman, that's who I was trying to think of. Braun Strowman is a perfect example. He just doesn't really work as a face, but he does work as a heel. The Undertaker obviously became a face, but for a long time he was just stuck in that heel mode.
Yep, another format too.
Forever.
I mean, he came into the territory as a monster heel with Brother Love, and then he got passed on to Paul Bearer. He eventually became a baby face, but that's what his formula was at the beginning. Come out there with the mouthpiece, go out there, beat up a bunch of dudes. I mean, it's a formula that I don't know if we see it too much right nowadays, because I can't think of any brand new monster heel unless you maybe count Bronson Reed.
That's the one I would think of right now. Yeah.
That's basically they even tried to do that with Omos. They had him with MVP and all that stuff, going out there beating them up. That's your formula. If you're over 6'7" and you're jacked and you're 300 pounds, you're definitely going to have a manager and you're going to be beating up two dudes. That is the formula to do.
Yep.
So it just,
Yep, and you're gonna be a
I just
bad
thought
guy.
that was, I was just thinking about that because that was very interesting to me. I was just like, wow, that formula, it's just been going on for like decades. I mean, decades and decades and decades. And some people it works with and some people it doesn't. Obviously, it worked with the Hulk. You know what I mean? It got him
Yeah,
to main event a bunch of territories even before he became, the almighty Hulk Hogan of the 80s. He still was main eventing a lot of territories has a heel versus Andre the Giant before they had their big clash
right.
at WrestleMania 3. They were going town to town with that feud. And the way they got Hulk Hogan ready was beating up 2 or 3 jobbers at the same time and had him a great mouthpiece. So formula works, and
Exactly.
it's really fun to still see that formula work today and stuff. So I just thought that was pretty interesting.
What
Uh, Go ahead.
and another thing I think is funny about this particular situation is that they thought Hogan would need a mouthpiece. Like Hogan's
Yeah.
one of the best people on the mic in the 80s for sure. But I guess they didn't realize that at the time.
Well, he
Or maybe
was
they just
new.
didn't let big guys like that speak.
No,
Yeah, he
no,
was
no.
new. You're right. He was
He
very new.
was he was new at the time. Like I said, like I think his, you know, and even if I'll give you an example. There's been many interviews with Omos that people have been praising. This
Mhm.
guy has a great personality, but we don't hear him talk at all because they
Right.
wanted to get him over as a monster. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you're a
And
monster, you
monsters
don't
don't
talk.
talk.
Yeah, you got to be Frankenstein out
Like
there, brother.
Frankenstein.
Yep.
Exactly. I got to be Frankenstein. Mhm.
So,
Yep.
do you think Ashland would have been a great heel in the WWF at this time, bro?
He
He
would
would
have
have been a great heel.
been. He would have been a great heel manager for sure.
Just imagine him
Coming out in his
managing
suit,
fucking.
his captain's suit.
He would have. They should have had him during
Mm.
that. When Sergeant Slaughter turned. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, yeah,
He would have been great for his mouthpiece, brother Ashland, the
yeah,
deadliest horror
yeah.
movie character.
When Sergeant Slaughter turned heel, and then Ashland could be a guy just like he was in this movie, possessed by a Nazi.
Just
That'd
imagine
been
that,
perfect.
bro. Does that not
Yeah.
sound like an '80s like wrestling gimmick? It's like I was a great
Yeah.
respected captain until I got possessed by a Nazi.
Possessed by a Nazi.
Then I turned heel.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
god. All right, Alison, what we got going on for the metal music? What are we going to be listening to on the Death Ship?
All right, this won't be long, but I just wanted to mention we've talked about this. I want to talk about a tour. We've talked about this tour before, but from the other side.
Yeah.
So what I'm talking about this time is March 7th, which was the opening day of this show in Texas and somewhere else, was the first day of Judas Priest's British Steel tour. Now, the kicker to this, the important thing about this tour was this was the first time Judas Priest was not a new band. They had been around for nearly 10 years at this point, but they had just started to get big. Like they just started to get popular, and they were still an underground band in the United States. Like it would take 2 or 3 more years before they would get really big in America. But British Steel was like, we talked about this album before too. British Steel is the album that created thrash metal, essentially. Like if you listen to British Steel and then you listen to Metallica's Kill 'Em All, you know exactly where it came from. It's like, there was like thousands of people that listened to this album, and half of them started a metal band. So this is like a really influential band and time for this band. And they were still small. Like they were still playing in the United States. They were playing to like, 1,500 people, 2,000 people. And, that would be like seeing them at the Fillmore, in Charlotte, where we go to shows sometimes. Like I think that place holds like 2,000 people or 1,500 people. So it'd be like seeing them there. So they started this tour this night in Cardiff, Wales, at the Cardiff University. So they were playing a college auditorium. And like I said, we've talked about this tour before because this was Iron Maiden's first tour ever. So Iron Maiden was the opening act. And we've talked about this tour from the aspect of Iron Maiden opening for Judas Priest. But we haven't talked about, Judas Priest's side to it and how they were getting big. Are about to get big. They were about to blow up. Like this would have been the best time, in my opinion, to see Judas Priest because they were still underground. but they were really good. They were playing, the hits that we would know. They played Hellbent for Leather and The Ripper and Living After Midnight and Victim of Changes and Genocide and Tyrant and like all these older songs that we know. Obviously they didn't have the newer songs yet, but they had all these classic songs that we know that they still play to this day. They're on tour currently. They played here in Charlotte like a week ago.
Oh, wow.
Still playing Hellbent for Leather. But this was just like a really seminal time for them. Like this was a time that a whole genre of music was going to be born and nobody even knew it. Like, like they were playing these British Steel songs on tour in front of people, and this was in March and April. And then in May they would come to the United States. And this is where like all those bands saw them for the first time, probably. So this was like a seminal moment. So like, as much as we love thrash metal on the show, I just wanted to talk about this tour because this was like the tour that created thrash metal, if you will. But yeah. And I mean, we've talked about Judas Priest a million times, and, we both know how we feel about Judas Priest. We both, they're a classic band. We both saw them at Ozfest.
Yes. A long time ago.
And yeah,
Did you see
a long time ago, 20 years ago.
No? Did you see him recently?
No.
Oh.
I didn't. I was going to go, I was going to go last year too. I had to sell my tickets last year because I was sick. Yeah. And then this year, I was going to go, but I mistook what day it was. I thought it was a Sunday and it was actually a Saturday. So I ended up not going, but, I do want to go, maybe next year. They're coming back next year to play Turbo. So maybe,
that'd be really fun.
Maybe I'll go next year. But yeah, so next year, Judas Priest is great. They're still just as good now as they ever were. Even in their 70s, 60s, 70s, whatever, still as good as they ever were. But yeah, and better than they have been in a while. But yeah, Judas Priest is great. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the British Steel Tour for a minute and get it out there for the people.
Yeah. And we'll play some Judas Priest at the end of this episode for all of our podcast listeners.
But not YouTube because they hate fun.
Yeah. No, not YouTube. You only get our fucking voices on YouTube, brother. You don't get no music on here.
Yeah.
All right.
No. All you need is our voices, really.
On the podcast, they don't care. Like if you do Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast listening devices, things from, that's where you can hear the Retro Blood. But yeah, I mean that'd be really fun. You think Ron Howard would ride his motorcycle on the death ship? I think he would.
Ron Howard?
What's his name? Rob
Halford.
Rob Halford. I always get his name.
Rob Halford. Ron Howard's the guy that directed Apollo 13.
Rob Halford would ride his motorcycle on there?
Yeah. I could see that. I could see Rob Halford riding his motorcycle and kicking Nazis in the face. Nazi ghosts.
Pretty wild, dude. Did he? Yeah. Okay, on that British tour, he didn't do the motorcycle gimmick yet, right? I guess he couldn't.
I don't think he was doing that yet.
Stage. Yeah. Probably had to wait.
They were playing too small. Yeah. They had to wait for the bigger venues to do the motorcycle gimmick. He still does the motorcycle gimmick, though. He's still.
Oh, really? I like it.
On this past, because he did it when we saw him 20 years ago. I remember he came out on stage, and I think they opened with Hellbent for Leather. Yeah. And on this tour, they do Hellbent for Leather is the first song of the encore. And he comes out doing the motorcycle gimmick. Nice. So it's still cool, right? It's still cool.
Rocket. Yeah, we'll play some of that for everybody. Okay. But let's get into it. Let's get into who booked this shit, brother. All right.
Yeah, who booked this shit?
Death Ship of Doom. All right. 1980. All right. So a couple of things.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's got a great cast.
Yeah, really good cast. I thought everybody did fine acting wise. Yeah, I thought they all did great on that part. All right, so this is directed by Alvin Rickoff. All right. Mm-hmm. And the screenplay was by John Robbins. Stories by Jack Hill and David P. Lewis. Let's see, Alvin Rickoff. Let's see what he's done. Apparently, he's a Canadian feller. All right.
Yeah, this is the only horror movie he ever made.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks like he did. Looks like he worked with a lot of people and stuff. I guess he's known for working for Sean Connery in his first leading role, and gave Alan Rickman his first job when he was a drama student. So it's
okay.
Yeah, and he's done a lot of stuff in the 50s. Before he did this movie, he did King Solomon's Treasure. All right. And
Mhm.
then after this movie, he did Dirty Tricks. There, Allison.
I haven't seen either one of those.
Sounds like a movie you would like, Dirty Tricks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do love stuff like that.
Uh,
I know more about Jack Hill's career than I do Rickoff's career.
yes. Yeah, we'll talk about him in a second. So basically, the screenplay was, it was based on a story by Jack Hill and David P. Lewis. So
Yeah.
what's Jack Hill? What's he all about?
I know that he was a collaborator with Roger Corman, which we've talked about before on the show.
Yeah.
And he directed and wrote a bunch of movies, sometimes uncredited, but like he wrote and directed a movie called Sorceress, which came out in 1982, which if we ever do our fantasy film month is one of the ones we're going to do. He also made a movie called Switchblade Sisters, which was like a huge influence on Quentin Tarantino. He made a bunch of like women in prison movies. Like he directed The Big Birdcage and The Big Dollhouse. He made a movie called Spider Baby that was really good. Those are the things I can think of. But he directed a bunch of movies in the 70s or 60s, 70s, 80s that were all really good films, like B movies, not like top of the line movies like The Death Ship, but Death Ship was like a big budget film for him.
Yeah. Yeah, was a big one.
But yeah, I guess he wrote
he still got his women in prison
did.
stuff though. Remember he put Sylvia in the fucking prison shower with blood?
That's true. That's true. Yeah. You can tell he's like really into like women in cages. For sure.
Yeah, they even tried to put Margaret, the wife of the marshal.
Yeah.
All right. Into a fucking cell, and then she just escaped super easy. So, but at least you got her in the cell for a second. So that's interesting. But this is like their big budget film, that they were doing, and this is also a British Canadian co-production. All right.
Yes.
So it was shot on location in Dublin Island, Alabama, Quebec City, Quebec, and the Gulf of Mexico. All right. And like we were saying before, it was Rickoff's only horror film, and upon release received mixed to negative reviews, but it's considered a cult classic.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those movies like The Thing where it didn't really wasn't considered good at the time, but it's considered good now. One thing I want to mention about this is the movie poster is amazing.
Oh yeah,
like
really cool,
if you went to the movies and you saw that movie poster, you're like, okay, we got to see that. I don't care what they're actually going to give us. We have to see that.
Yeah, the poster is basically, I don't know if I can show it on here or not, but it's basically a huge ship, all right, with a fucking death-looking signal on it, just saying death ship, like, some shit's going to go down. You know what I mean?
Like the front of the ship looks like a skull.
Yeah, it's kind of like a skull on there. All right. They pretty much, I mean, that'd be cool if they had it during the animation, but they didn't. But it basically on the poster, those who survived the ghost ship are better off dead. All right. Then it shows like the big ass ship with the two eyes and the mouth. And then it sees the people on the raft and stuff. But yeah, one of the coolest movie posters you can find out there for a horror movie. I would definitely agree on with that one. And that's what it, back in the day, man, during this particular time and then later on the 80s, that's what mostly sold your stuff. Was the movie poster and everything.
Yeah, I mean, you might see a trailer for a movie, but you might not. Like, especially if it was like a low budget horror movie, you probably weren't going to see a trailer for that. So you just had to hire somebody to paint that poster and sell that movie that way. Yeah, just like album covers, like that. You couldn't really hear heavy metal on the radio, so they had all these cool album covers and made people want to buy it. I mean, it worked with me a bunch of times.
And I bet this movie also did pretty good on VHS as well, too, because that was big for the VHS market. It was a cool looking poster on your VHS tape.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
So a couple trivia notes about the movie. All right. It says when the crew of the ocean liner picks up the echo of the approaching ghost ship on the radar, the close-up of the ship's radar imagery is a reverse image video clip of the fog-covered Skull Island taken from King Kong. So they did a King Kong reference on here.
Yeah.
So which we'll talk about. They did a black and white musical, which actually was pretty interesting looking. All right.
Mhm.
And apparently that was taken from Everything is Rhythm, 1963. All right. That was a very interesting way they filmed that and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool looking.
From
Um,
from 1963.
yeah, it says 1960. No, sorry, 1936. My bad. Sorry.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was about to say,
Yeah.
how did the Nazis have this movie that would, okay, there we go. That makes more
Yeah,
sense.
1936. My bad. It was like this little musical thing. It's actually pretty interesting looking.
Yeah.
So as the death ships collides with the cruiser line, brief scenes of an explosion, a grand piano falling between decks, and an engine room flooding were cut in. These scenes were from The Last Voyage, 1960.
Oh wow.
We're just fucking
Interesting.
we're just taking every scene from every movie, brother, and just slapping it
Yeah,
on
we're
here.
we're just cutting out other
Screw
movies
you.
and recycling other films.
Stock footage is not a thing. We're just taking these fucking movies that have no copyrights on them. We're just taking that shit, brother. All right, I like it. The footage showing the movement of the death ship, which actually was pretty cool little effect they did, was a result of filming from a small boat moving around it. The crew shot for about an hour before the death ship broke down. The rest of the required shots were archived by faking movements, as the broken down vessel was anchoring and stationary. So that's pretty. I actually thought that was a pretty cool looking shot when they're on the raft and that the death ship's approaching them. So that's the one they were doing.
Yes.
Like they kind of filmed it on a smaller boat and they kind of blow it up from there. So pretty interesting. So we say when first looking at in the bathroom, there is a pin-up photo on the wall. The photo is of actress Betty Gabriel. You got one of her posters there, Alison? Betty Gabriel.
I know who Betty Gable is, but I don't have any Betty Grable, but I don't have any of her posters up. I'm not into that old stuff, but yeah. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
You know what? You're not invited to the over 50 party now. All right.
Oh no. I'd hate to miss that barn burner.
Are you technically Ashland on here? Because I think you might be. Uh-huh.
I can relate to Ashland a lot. I like how they describe him as prickly. Yes.
Bro, I'm telling you, man.
And
like,
I am prickly, if anything.
If they didn't have him in this movie, I don't think I would have liked it as much as I did because he carried the whole fucking movie, bro.
He did. Yeah, George Kennedy as Ashland was incredible.
I like how they wrote this. The blood used in the shower was not real. Well, fuck. Really?
No shit.
Thanks for spoiling it. But the actress was I like this. But the actress was told it was real for effect. Really? And she believed it? The shower scene was shot in one take because it was too expensive to clean up and reshoot.
That I can believe that they shot this in one take for sure.
Yeah, I can believe that too. It said in this, in a crude example of because the plot requires it. I like that. The main characters survived the sinking of the cruise line despite being nowhere near each other at the time of sinking. The kids were in the room below decks. The first mate and his wife were attending a party. With the singer, the lovers were in a bedroom and crew quarters, and the captain was on the bridge. The likelihood of all these characters finding the same lifeboat is astronomically high. You got to do your what do you got to do it? What you got to do your misbelief. You know what I mean? You gotta
your suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, suspension.
Because but I mean, ships are huge though. Like, I mean, I've never been on a cruise ship, but I've heard they're gigantically huge.
Yeah, they are.
But I have been on like aircraft carriers, and they're really huge. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
them all coming to the same would be unusual. Yeah. Yes.
Well, yes, it is very unusual because they're all on the same lifeboat. Right, we don't see how they get there. They all just show up on there. The only thing we see is they find Ashland and they find him floating in the fucking water. But everybody else is just on the boat.
Right.
So I thought that part was pretty funny. And they're right. I mean, it is kind of a thing where you got to you got to trick your brain and believe in it. One other thing. Apparently, this was. Let's see. Make it on here. Apparently, this was Sally Ann Howell's last film. All right, she played
Hmm.
Margaret Marshall, the wife of Trevor. All right,
Yes. Hmm.
and she's been known to doing a couple. She had a couple lead actors in musicals and stuff. She was an English actress. Yeah, it's not really saying why this was her last one. I think she just went to go do some more like after this one, after Death Ship. It looks like she went to go do some more theater plays, and it's kind of like gave up the movie
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, like a lot of actors did. Like a lot of
Yeah,
actors would just do theater. Like most of those actors were like, well, they only did 3 movies. They would actually go and do theater for a long time.
yeah. I mean, her theater background is extensive. All right. I mean, she's done
Yes.
a shit ton of plays, which is like like you were saying, it's not too uncommon, especially for like English actors and actresses.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
in England and stuff, like the theater is like a huge moneymaker. I think it still is compared to
Yes.
the US and
It
stuff. Like
still is. Yeah.
obviously US and stuff has some, theater plays that tour and everything like there, and they're pretty popular. But in England and stuff, like theater is still a big moneymaker and market that a lot of
Yeah.
young actors and stuff go out there and perform on. And they a lot of them
Yeah.
make a career out of it. So
Right. Well, I mean, it's like being on
yeah.
Broadway or something. Like
Yeah.
being on Broadway here would be a big deal.
Yeah, and you
You
get like
might
shows every
not
weekend and
make
stuff. Yeah,
movies to be on Broadway. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. So pretty cool. And then of course our main guy who played Ashland, like you're saying.
Mm.
All right, George Kennedy, my main man.
Yeah.
Was he
He's been in
not
a
the
bunch of
best?
movies.
Was
Yeah.
he not the best horror villain so far of 1980? Not the whole 1980s. I'm talking about the year 1980.
I will say that he would have been the best so far, at
Because I'm
least.
thinking, okay, obviously
I
before him
don't. I don't. I don't.
we had Michael Myers obviously in 1979 or 8, one of the two.
Yes.
And then we had Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We had Leatherface, early 70s too.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, but move over, guys. I mean, this is Ashland, brother. I mean, we wouldn't
Yeah. I mean,
see a crazy man like him until Cochran, right?
true. True. But I mean, he as a villain, he would probably be eclipsed by Mrs. Voorhees, but that wouldn't be until later on in the summer. So in March and April of 1980, he was the best. He was the best
Okay,
1980
so
horror.
what you're telling me there, Alison? You think if there was a fight or a wrestling match between Ashland and Mrs. Voorhees, that Mrs. Voorhees would fucking win?
Yes.
Why?
Absolutely.
Because she has unexplained superpowers that she could throw people up in trees and
Exactly.
they can die.
Exactly. The only thing this guy has is he's possessed by a Nazi. Mrs. Voorhees has that like angry mom power.
Guess what? My boy Ashland.
What?
You know what he'll do?
Yeah.
He'll bring out a pistol and he'll shoot you many times, but always miss. That's what he'll do.
Yeah, and she'll just walk up behind you and cut your throat like she always did.
Maybe she
in
would
those
win.
movies.
This boy, I like him everything.
Stick an arrow through your throat.
But he cannot shoot worth a damn. Like what did he do? Like 15 rounds on these fucking. I mean, fucking Loomis Lee shot Michael 6 times. This guy couldn't shoot anybody.
Yeah, but he hit him every time. No,
exactly.
No. Yeah, just imagine what Halloween would have been like if this guy had been there. That he would never have hit him at all, and we would never have known. I shot him 6 times, but I missed every time.
Are you telling me Halloween and Death Ship is in the same universe?
I think it might be. What if what a
crossover that we don't need. Is that one?
What if Ashland was played by the guy that played Loomis? What's his name? His name escapes me right now.
Donald Pleasant.
Yeah, what if Donald Pleasance? Yeah, Donald Pleasance. What if he had played Ashland? That would be fantastic.
He would have been like, no, yeah. Well, I like George Kennedy. I think he did a great job. But Donald Pleasant, he would have been a madman on this thing.
Yeah,
just imagine that shit.
I love Donald Pleasance. He's so good. He's so good.
I know. We always
he's so good as a crazy.
We've done a lot of that. Everybody check out our Halloween reviews. We love Donald Pleasant.
Yeah,
he was like our big we loved him throughout every film. And of course, a little hint.
Yes.
Lights Out's coming back this October with talk about Halloween H2O. which unfortunately doesn't have Donald Pleasant in it. He passed away. He actually passed away after making Halloween 6, which I really want to talk about. That movie is super interesting, especially with the background with it and everything. But on Halloween H2O, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff on the Lights Out. Join us this Halloween, October 31st. That's when we're going to be dropping Lights Out review on Halloween H2O. But we're going to be talking about the sequels that were supposed to happen before H2O. We might touch a little bit on Resurrection, which is the worst Halloween film ever. I don't care what everybody says. The Rob Zombie movies are way better than that piece of shit.
Absolutely, yeah. Resurrection is awful. I keep forgetting it even exists.
Brother, it's stuck. Even though they had a semi good idea for a part 3 that never got made 2. So we're gonna talk about a little bit about the failed ideas of Halloween movies that were supposed to happen before H2O and a little bit after. And then of course we'll talk about H2O and the whole cast and stuff. And I think H2O is for a reboot is actually not too bad, at least the first one. So but we'll talk all about that.
I agree.
Very, very fun. It's gonna be very fun. But everybody, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this review. Let's get on and talking about one of the most deadly horror movie characters of all time. Let's talk about Ashland and let's talk about the Death Ship.
Let's do it.
Death Ship. It came out of the night. Searching.
Signal him to hold the course.
We have, sir.
Well, signal him again, damn it!
Striking. Bringing terror in its wake. Killing all but a few, saving them for the hell. Aboard the Death Ship.
This old ship seems to have a life of its own.
Not so bad. We're out of the water. It's a nice day, huh? We can clear this mess up, play a little shuffleboard, get a tan.
Death Ship, where evil lives in an endless nightmare. And where those who survive are better off dead. Death Ship, your holiday in hell.
All right. So we start off in the water. Well, I feel like we've been in the water a lot this year.
I feel like we have too. We've done a lot of water movies. Lots of water movies.
We did those shark movies. We did the Jaw movies. We did a lot of. We did an island month, which is the water too. We've been in the water a lot this year. We should be burnt and tan. We're two pasty white dudes. We've been in the water so much. All right, so we start off. I guess it's like a cruise ship. I couldn't tell if it was like a cruise ship or well, the fucking Ashland act like this was a battleship. Okay, so.
Well, that's because he's prickly, but yeah, but it is a cruise ship, and Ashland's, if I'm not mistaken, he's about to retire, right? This is like his last voyage or something.
Yeah, last voyage, brother. So he's gonna give the reins to Trevor Marshall. All right, and he's old and prickly, saying, "This fuck, you don't know how to drive a shit, brother. All right, you fucking assholes. All right." Like angry old man guy.
Yeah.
And I like it where his big thing is like, he's always saying like, you all, it's this guy's, he's like, you all don't know how to sell. You don't know what real selling's about. Marshall, you're going to get this shit when I'm done. All right. But you don't know what it's all about.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't want to go to the 50s and up party. Fuck those guys. I was like, this guy's awesome so far.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. I like his big thing is just like, I don't want to go, everybody thinks they're all like the line he says like later on when he's at the party. He's like, all these people think they're so great because they get to eat with the captain. They think they're so special right now because the captain's on board eating with them. And I'm thinking like, I don't think anybody gives a shit that anybody's eating with you. So Trevor brought his whole family along. Okay. And I guess in the middle. So basically, we get a couple shots of them all at the party. This is when we get
Yeah.
Nick and Sylvia flirting with each other. They're all in Halloween mask and everything.
Yeah, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, so that part was pretty cool, and they're all hanging out. And we could see that when Ashland leaves the deck and stuff, they're starting to get like something on the radar. This mystery black cruise thing is like heading right towards them. All right.
Mhm.
So then we see. So this is when we get a couple cutscenes. So we see Nick and Sylvia. They're basically fucking, even though we don't see the fucking. We just see the aftermath. And I like it where Sylvia's all like, "You're not going to remember me after this, are you?" And then like
No.
Nick's like, "Well, I don't know." And she's like, "Well, I bet you say that to all the girls." And he's like, "Yes, I do." And then he's all like, "What the hell do you want me to say?" I was like, "Brother,
Wow.
I feel you that you just fucking gave this girl the night of her life, and she's being all weird and like, just shut up." What do you want me to say?
Right.
I don't know why that part was so funny. He's like, "What do you want me to say?" All right.
What do you want me to
What
say?
do you want me to do? I just gave you some dick. Come on now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I love that part. That was awesome.
The little things like that just always get me. All right, and then we cut to a scene of this fucking Ashland guy berating Marshall's kid Ben. He's like, "You little twat. All right, you think you're over here fucking. This is the real shit, brother. All right, this is the battleship of doom. All right, get off my ship." And he pitches his cheek and gets him out of there.
A real ship, a cruise ship.
Like, what do you think this was? Are they going to war or something? Like, what the hell?
Wow.
All right. So during all this stuff, this is actually then when they all get alerted that this ghostly ship is about to crash into the ship. And guess what? It does. It crashes in, even though they're trying to make maneuvers, but it doesn't work at all. Okay. So this is when the ship crashed and everything. Then we cut to a scene with, like what we were saying earlier, half the cast is on a lifeboat now. How did they get to the lifeboat? I don't know. Maybe they teleported. Who knows?
They just got there. They just all found it.
So it's Trevor and his whole family. It's Nick and Sylvia who are just fucking. And when they're cruising along, they pick up Ashland. They find Ashland, and he's basically kind of passed out. Oh, by the way, there's this old lady there too. Oh God, what was her fucking name? I think her name was Sylvia, the old lady. Yeah. So okay, So we have Sylvia. Okay, is the older lady who was talking to Marshall about her husband dying and how I guess her husband was religious or something, and Ashland didn't give a fuck. He was like, "Get away from me." All right, Lori is the one who is fucking on Nick. All right, so we got that. Okay, got that.
Yes.
So they're all there. All right, they're all sitting there. They're all kind of like hanging out in the boat, and this is when we get the really cool scene of the death ship approaching them. You know, the way it was shot was actually really cool looking. Like it was like, you can see
thought it looked great.
Yeah, it looked really cool. I liked it for that. That kind of graphics at that time. They didn't have no CGI back in the day, brother. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
So now they're all trying to figure out how to get on the ship. They keep saying ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. All right, does that work there, Alison? Ahoy.
Sure. We'll say it does.
Well, you're the
I
boat
don't know.
expert, aren't you?
I think that's. I'm the boat expert now?
We went to fucking.
Fine.
We've been in Jaws.
Fine.
You've been in Jaws.
Yeah, that's true. Fine, I'm the boat expert.
You've been in island movies. We saw eating fetus, and we don't know. We can't say ahoy.
Ahoy! I don't know. All I know is we need a bigger boat. That's the only thing I know.
All right. Well, that's true. Yeah, we do need a bigger boat. All right. So nobody's on the ship, but then they find like a little lift. You know what I mean? So they all. So now Nick goes on the lift first, and he looks around, don't see anybody. And then everybody else starts getting on the lift, the kids and everything. I do like the one scene where the kids, Ben and Robin, like Ben just gets onto the ship and runs away. Robin follows him. And then Ben has to piss. So we see him pissing. And then Robin's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I gotta pee." And then they start laughing at each other off screen. That's pretty funny.
Right.
Or laughing at each other on screen. It was pretty funny. All right. So now Ashland, he's still passed out. So they need to bring him on the lift, but then the boat starts moving on its own. Uh-oh.
Mm.
We might have a death ghost ship here. Maybe.
Maybe, but at this
So,
point, they don't. Do
They
they?
don't
Do
know
they
yet.
think they don't think the ship's abandoned, right?
No. They just think nobody hurt him or nothing
No,
like that.
yeah.
But they got on the
Right,
ship because
right,
they saw the little ladder, the little lift thing. So the lift breaks on
right.
them. So everybody falls into the water, and by falling into the water, this cold water, that's how Ashland wakes up. So then Lori brings them a ladder, and they all climb up the ladder. But while they were climbing up the ladder, there's some either mud, oil, or shit is going all over their faces. Couldn't really tell which one it was.
I think it was oil, but yeah, it was something
yeah.
all over their face.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Ashland's awake now. All right. So they all get onto the boat. All right.
Mhm.
We get so this movie had I couldn't tell if it was for us, the audience, or if it was for the crew. But there'd be certain scenes where a character would look over, and then we'd see flashes to what's about to happen later on in the movie.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that either. Like, I can't tell if it was like a premonition they were having or if it was just like for the audience. I'm not sure.
Because we
I wasn't sure if it was a premonition or not.
Yeah, I think we had a scene that either Trevor or Ashton look over at the I guess that's where you keep all like the fish or whatever. And they looked over, they see a guy stuck in a rope, which you're gonna find out is Nick.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
All right. So then we had this other guy who survived, apparently, I forgot about. His name was Jackie. And he's like, "Oh, this is great. Everything's great." Then he gets hooked on by the the sail hook. All right, and then the boat starts teasing him, puts him up in the air, throws him around, dips him in the water. All right, and then eventually lets him go, and then he drowns. And this should have been the first sign of the crew being like, "Oh, there's something strange about this ship." But nope, they're still hanging out.
They still haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah. And then yeah, they're wondering like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of weird." But you know what? It's the best we got, so we're gonna explore around here. And
I'm sure everything is fine.
And then the only thing I can explain this next scene is we have the Evil Dead recording tape, but in German.
Yeah.
So
that's how you know it's evil.
Is this La Casa 6, maybe?
6?
Origin?
Or 7?
Even though it came out in 1980 before all that.
Maybe.
Bro, I bet
it's interesting to think about.
If this came out in like 1989, they would have slapped a La Casa on this thing super quick.
It says it doesn't take place in a La Casa. It takes place in a ship.
Fuck it. Who cares? Just put the name on there, brother. All right. That's what we did to the other fucking movies.
Okay. All right. Yeah, fair enough. Who cares?
They had a house quarters. There you go. All right.
They did.
So Ashland's now passing out. All right. We had the crane knocks over Nick. All right. And then this is when the old lady Sylvia's like, you know what? I think the ship got to life its own. Oh, really?
No way.
Was it the
you don't say.
What was it the oil on the face? Was it the lift falling down? Was it the rope that randomly threw over Jack? What makes you think this ship has a
what
life
got
of
you
its
there?
own?
Yeah. Exactly. What got you there? Yeah.
I like this part too. So they go to some quarters, right? And
Right.
like this randomly, the kids are like, "Oh, well, what kind of nationality is this boat?" I was like, "Who the fuck asks that?" What
kind of question is that?
What nationality is this boat? And then of course, fucking Lori's like, "Oh, I know, it's German because there's some German writing here." I was like, "Okay, thank you."
So that increased our plot, so that we know that we're on a German boat now.
We're on a German ship, and boy, wait till we get to the Nazi room. That's a wild one. So now Lori's gonna look around for some clothes. All right. And then this is when Trevor and Celia, they go to help out Ashland to go get him. All right. And this is when Marshall, Margaret, the wife, her and the kids are looking around for food and stuff. And then they hear a bunch of noises. So I put in my notes the Tori. She's looking around the ship. She's in a wet T-shirt that says tennis.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Is that high fashion in 1980 that I don't know about?
I guess. Yeah, I guess so.
I'm gonna get you one of them shirt, Alison. You look like
This is tennis.
You look like a
And
tennis
I got the
guy.
sleeves out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do. I look like I play tennis for sure.
All right. So now she's walking around in her tennis shirt. She hears a recording playing on its own. She goes to check it. She doesn't find it, but then she finds some clothes. She puts on the brand new clothes. She hears some strange noises. All right. And I thought the strange noises were just Ashland making a bunch of noises. Because they're carrying him through the whole ship now.
Yeah.
So now they know that Nick is missing. They get a ghost phone call. They all think it's Nick playing around. And then this is when Ashland dreams of German Nazis. Have you ever had those dreams there, Alison?
I've had my fair share of Nazi dreams for sure.
You know, you're out
Not
there
in
the
good
sea.
ways though.
You're
I've got my own Nazi nightmares.
You're a ship captain. You're having your livelihood taken away from you. All right, because you're too damn good at your job. You almost die during a shipwreck. You go onto a ship full of German ghost Nazis. You know what? How could you not have a Nazi dream?
Exactly. It's kind of weird that he didn't drown. I thought when they find him floating face down in the ocean, but
move over. Michael Myers got shot 6 times. That's nothing compared to Ashland, brother. He can drown and everything and still survive.
Survive. Exactly.
All right, so now they're all realizing that the ship is running itself. I thought we already realized that, but they're just realizing it now. All right. And then Ashland wakes up a little bit, wonders what ship they're on. They all tell him to rest, so he does. So now we're having Trevor and Nick look around. They say that there's a map there, and they see that this ship is weird because it keeps circling itself. Oh, you don't say. Are we maybe in the Bermuda Triangle? They didn't say if we were in the Bermuda Triangle or not.
No, but they're in that kind of area, though. They're in the Caribbean somewhere.
Yeah. So then they go to the radio room, but the radio room's obviously shut down.
Right.
So then, out of nowhere, we get Hitler World War II lessons from Sylvia and Lori. Because Ben asked, who is Hitler and why and what does he do? And I was like, oh boy, here we go. He found a book on Hitler. All right. And then they tell us who Hitler was and everything. And then he points and Ben's like, oh, is this Hitler? And then Lori's like, oh, that's not Hitler. That's the King of England. And they all laugh.
I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but it's like, really?
It's like, I don't know. Okay, thank you. All right. So now they hear a movie. And this is when we get that musical that we talked about earlier. It's playing right now.
Right.
And then now Trevor and Nick, they're saying, how is this ship running? There's no fuel. We got to get out of here now.
We've got to get out of here.
Yeah, got to get out of this ship. So everybody goes to the music room. Besides Sylvia, she stays with Ashland. And apparently it's called a movie house. See? There's your house right there, Alison. La Casa
that's
6.
True. That's true. Yes,
the movie house.
The movie house. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's what movie theaters were called in the 30s or whatever, the movie house.
So they watch an old musical. Ashland sleeps with his eyes open. Sylvia grabs this old candy that you know is going to fuck her up. Ashland pretends to sleep now. And we get more musical scenes. All right. All right. And then Ben, the kid, comes grabs Sylvia so she can watch the movie. And then this is when Ashland wakes up because he was faking it.
Yeah.
Trevor and Nick, they find a boat to get them out of there, off the ship. Now he's going to go find the rest of them. The movie cuts off. And then Robin starts screaming. And now we can see that Sylvia's face is all fucked up because she has turned into a demon from Evil Dead.
I saw that. She's like possessed, just like in La Casa. La Casa 1, Evil Dead.
Maybe this is like the origin story.
See,
you
it's
know what I mean?
connecting. See, it's connecting. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, wasn't no Evil Dead wasn't made before this. This was before Evil Dead. Evil Dead was like the next year or something, right?
There you go.
82 was Evil Dead, I think.
So
yeah.
There we go, brother. Huh?
So it fits
That's
together better than we think.
Yeah, there you go. And of course, she runs into the room all fucked up. And then this is when Ashland is now fully possessed by German Nazis, and he chokes her out.
Yep.
So there she goes. Oh, I do like the line. I think it was by Ben or Robin. He's like, "Mommy, don't touch her. She's poisonous." I love that prize. Funny. I don't know why.
That was great. All
right.
Poisonous.
So now they all run into Trevor. All right. And they all say like, "Hey, Sylvia's just all fucked up and stuff." And this is when Trevor finds her on the floor, and then Ashton's there. He's like, she had a seizure. We got to bury her at sea. All right, and this is a great scene. I love this scene. Okay, so they're burying her at sea, right? Trevor's talking.
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna be burying her, and she was a great lady, but we barely knew You know what I mean? We barely knew who she was. She was a great old lady. Ashton comes in. Ashton's like, "What the fuck are you doing, Marshall? That's not a way you bury somebody. Get on out of here." And then Ashton comes in and starts all this religious stuff that I didn't understand at all. All right. And he's like, "Hey, man, throw her off the fucking boat." And he throws her off the boat. It's fucking hilarious.
This is great. It's fucking great.
It is this guy is just intense.
He's just like, he's just like, fuck it, whatever. He's like, just get this bitch in the water so we can move on.
Exactly. It's like, even when he was saying all this religious stuff, he was saying it at the quickest manner to get it over with. Yeah. Like, go to heaven, Jesus and shit. Oh, man, get the bitch out of here. All right. So while she lowers, then the boat lowers, and now their safety boat is now gone. And they're like, oh, fuck. All right. And then they start complaining that the ship is smells a little bit. Oh, okay. Maybe what's it smelling of? German sausage, maybe.
Ooh.
So now Ashton goes to the wheel, all in full uniform. This is another great scene. This is actually one of my favorite scenes of this one. So he calls up Trevor to the quarters. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Come to the bridge." Yeah. And they start talking about the wheelhouse. He's like, "Come into the wheelhouse there, Marshall." He's all like, this is Ashland. He's all like, I work very hard to be for my chair, to be the captain. All right. How about you try starting her for a little bit? How about you try doing it takes a special person to be a captain, not a fucking marshal like you. All right.
Right.
And Trevor tries to steer it. He's like, "Yeah, you see, a pretend captain like you can't do it. All right. You took my last ship. You won't take this one." And then Trevor's like, "Whoa, I didn't take your ship. The company did. They didn't like how prickly you were. They didn't like how you dealt with the crew and the guest." And then Ashton's like, "I don't give a fuck." Bro, this guy was like a heel, bro. He was like a heel manager. He's like, "I don't care about the crowd. I don't care. I was a great ship captain, brother. That's all that matters. And you're trying to steal that shit from me." All right. So they start going off on each other. And then Trevor's
because basically...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, basically, so like Ashland is the way he is because he feels like he doesn't want to retire, but they're kind of making him retire and to replace him with Trevor, essentially. He doesn't say that, but that's kind of what I get out of it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But then he also got possessed by a German ghost. But he didn't change personalities at all. He was always a prickly bastard.
Right. No, he's still an asshole. Yeah, he's still an asshole. Like, even, I mean, like, it's like they could have like made him like like maybe like the kids, or like, he was like lovable or something, and then he got possessed by a Nazi and he became an asshole and his personality doesn't change. Yeah, it's really weird.
And then Trevor's all like, "Where do you plan to sail?" And then Ashland's like, "I plan to sail an eternity." Oh,
weird.
I put a great scene in my notes. That was a great scene.
Yes.
All right, so now Trevor, he goes to Ben. All right. And he talks to everybody and saying he basically, Trevor goes to Ben and his kids and stuff and calm him down. And now he's talking to his wife saying, "Hey, I think this Ashland guy, I think like he's turning. I don't know how he knows this, but now Trevor is telling his wife, "Hey, this Ashland guy is acting all funny now. I think he's turned into a German officer." I was like,
Uh-oh.
"Oh, okay, sure, all right." So now Ashland is having a bunch of dreams of Lori taking a bloody shower, and then we see Nick
All
without
right.
a shirt on in the doggy position. Well, this movie is going to take a weird turn.
Yes.
All right.
But it didn't.
So now we have
kind of
Nick.
did, but not in the way we.
Yeah. So now we have Nick and Tori. They're going to go have sex somewhere in the boat. All right.
Mhm.
And then she asks, and then Nick's like, "Do you love me?" And Lori's like, "Well, if you asked me a week ago, I would have said no. But since we're on this death ship and you're the only man around, I'm going to say yes now. Let's take a shower." Okay.
Let's do it. Mhm.
So now Ashland is still dreaming. All right. This is when we have Robin and Ben. They're looking for a restroom,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and then Ben says he's scared shirtless, but then Robin corrects him saying it's supposed to be shitless.
I cracked up with this. I don't know why I thought that was funny. I just did.
So now Ben,
Shirtless.
yes, yeah, the kids were okay in this movie. I liked that we're like,
Yeah.
they probably just like didn't even read lines. They like the director probably told them what to say and they just said it, you know?
Yeah.
So now Ben's about to leave, but then he can see that well, actually Lori invites Lori invites Nick to the shower.
Mhm.
All right. But the shower's closed, and this is when we got the whole blood coming through the showers and stuff. All right.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So they get covered in the she gets covered in the Italian blood. All right. Robin freaks about. She hears a German radio cast. All right. They get let's see, freaks out German radio cast. All right. There's some German music going on while they're in the shower. Ashland grabs the kids and he brings the kids back to Trevor. All right. So Nick's looking all the way around the place for something to break the shower, but he can't find anything. He finally grabs Trevor. All right, and they go look in the shower. They don't see any blood, and there's no shower. There's no blood in the shower, but the girl's gone. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now when they arrive, they see that they see that they're up on the boat, right? And they can see that Ashland now has Lori's dead, bloody body and throws her out overboard. All right. Her
Yeah, every time he catches a body, he just throws her off the side, throws them off the side of the ship.
Yeah. And then Nick and his acting, "Ashland, you crazy bastard."
That's fantastic. That was exactly the way he delivered that line.
Then they go try to hunt him down, but they end up in a German Nazi room full with a bunch of German Nazi gear. It looked like a museum. I like it how this ghost ship had a German Nazi room, like perfectly with Hitler posters everywhere. It looked like a museum.
I think it's weird that that's the only room that had Nazis, I guess, but I think it's weird that that's this Nazi ship that only had one room with Nazi stuff in it.
Yeah. So then they go.
I mean, I understand why, because they don't want us to know it's a Nazi ship at first, but still.
So then they find some gold teeth, and they're like, "Oh, this must have been a torture boat for Nazis." All right.
Torture boat for Nazis.
Then they find watches, and they notice the watches are still working. Oh. All right. And
that made stuff to last back then.
Yes. So while this is all happening, all right, let's see.
Do you want to hear something really weird while you're doing that?
Go ahead.
that I thought about. So this is 1980, and World War II ended in 1945. So there is less time passed between the end of World War II and when this movie came out than when this movie came out in today.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yes, that is crazy to think.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought that was really weird, and it made me feel really fucking old when I saw this. But anyway,
we're all fucking old. That's how it goes, brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of old, they keep running throughout the whole house. They see old, dead plastic bodies. And then we hear a bunch of noises from these dead bodies in the quarters. So we're seeing a bunch of dead bodies now. The
dead bodies all looked like the skeletons from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disney World to me. Like they're just like, or Spirit Halloween, like dead skeletons.
Yeah. I know.
It was great.
So now Nick's freaking out hard. All right. We hear some screaming from these ghosts. We see some Nazi movies playing over Nick and Trevor. Trevor tries to rip. Trevor tries to take down the projector. Nick tries to rip the screen of the projector, and this is when we get Nick freaking out in his doggy position for some reason. Was he getting humped by some German Nazi ghost or something? I don't know.
I thought it was because of that like electronic noise that was going on, like the high pitched whine. I thought that was like affecting their brains or something, maybe. But they were also playing like the Nazi national anthem through this entire part. Like I'm pretty sure that song is like the anthem of the Nazi party. Yeah. But I could be wrong. I'm not an expert on Nazis by any means.
So he gets Nazi ghost props all over his body. And then eventually Nick jumps into that watering hole that we saw at the beginning with a flashback. And basically Ashland teases him, puts him up, he freaks out, and then he drowns his ass. Pretty cool looking scene. So now Trevor's trying to get that Nazi noise away. Okay. And all he can hear now is Ashland saying, this boat needs blood. All right, it's gonna be your blood, your wife's blood, and your children's blood. Must have blood. Blood. Even it was
blood.
We only had one blood in this movie, and that was on though. Maybe they need more blood to replace the blood they use in the shower.
Maybe, because now they're running low because that was a lot of blood.
So now, after Trevor passes out, he wakes up. All right, and then he just randomly wakes up and stabs Ashland 3 times out of nowhere. Okay. Then he grabs his family. They're not sure what's going on, and they got to find a way out of here. They go to a cooler, where they see a bunch of dead bodies in the cooler. They had a pretty cool, creepy sound when they were walking through there. And this is when he finds some he found some life jackets in this cooler with the dead bodies, and he found a raft in here. Okay, and they go through it. That's their escape plan now, is use a raft and with the life vest and get off the boat. So now they need to stop the ship before they do that. Okay, so they break the chains for the anchor so they could anchor the boat. They put the life jackets on, and this is when we have Ashland. He is not dead because he only got stabbed 3 times. He didn't get shot 6 times. He got stabbed 3 times. And this is when he starts firing at all of them, and he just misses every single shot. Every single shot he misses. It's hilarious.
Everyone, yes.
All right. So he keeps missing and stuff. Eventually, the mom gets the kids off the boat. They go into the raft. This is when Ashland and Trevor fight, but Ashland just whoops his ass and knocks him out, and then he goes after the wife.
Yeah.
Ashland grabs the wife, puts her into a fucking cell. All right. He's about to go after the kids and stuff, but then Trevor wakes up. They started fighting again. All right. And this is when they kind of knock him down. And this is when Trevor meets his wife. I guess she just escaped out of the cell. Super easy. No problem. And they both jump off the boat. So. Okay. So they both jump off the boat, right? And they're going to the raft. And now Ashland's like, I command you to go back to them. And I was like, who the fuck are you talking to? And I was like, wait a minute. He's talking to the German ghost people on the boat. He said, I'm your captain, and you will listen to me. and then the boat doesn't listen. They just go the other way because it's on course, I guess. And so now Ashland is pissed off. So now he's shooting all around the boat because they're not listening to him.
Right.
All right. So he's shooting the boat, shooting the boat, shooting the boat. He eventually falls down into the engine room, hits his head, and then he gets the engine basically crushes his whole arm. And we're led to believe that it crushes his whole body. All right. So that is it for Ashland. What a way out. Shooting your own boat.
I know.
All right. It's because the damn nobody would listen to him, man. His regular crew.
No, the boat
didn't listen to him.
Yeah, nor the boat or the Nazi crew.
The Nazi crew didn't listen to him.
Yeah.
What in the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna drink one out for my boy Ashland.
You might as well, Ashland. I mean, he went out the hard way.
He tried, brother.
He was a prickly bastard, and he was still an asshole even after he got possessed by Nazis.
Believe it, man. I can't believe it. All right, so now they're on the raft. The family is. They're like, okay, we're on this raft now. Oh, there's just so happened to be a rescue helicopter. We're safe. Everything is safe and fine now.
That was super convenient. That was super convenient, and they could find all those life jackets too.
All
that was
good
really
to go.
great. Yeah.
Yep. Found them in life jackets.
Yeah.
Ahoy worked. They got all get rescued.
Yeah.
I like
it.
The helicopter
took an hour and a half.
I like the helicopter guy was like, hey, there's 4 people down there. Oh, they all look in good shape. I was like,
let's just go back and have a sandwich.
It'll be fine. And then we see shots of the ghost ship as it sails on through the Bermuda Triangle or where the fuck it's at with dead Ashland in
to go after another cruise.
Yeah. And then,
to go after another cruise ship.
And then we will not have a sequel unless you count Ghost Ship.
We will not.
I haven't seen. Apparently, there's a Twilight Zone episode called Death Ship 2. So, but yeah,
maybe they're all related. But yeah, we never got Death Ship 2.
Yeah. So, but a pretty fun movie though. I liked it. I enjoyed it. For what it was, I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like it's an old style ghost movie, right? Where a lot of the movie nothing happens, and then all the ghosty stuff starts happening at the end, and then all the people have to escape. So like most of what we talked about happened in like the last 20-25 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of walking around the ship and watching doors and like hallways and empty hallways and like little things happening. But I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, it's something I would watch again. I mean, I thought wasn't bad.
That was good. Obviously, the Ashland is the guy who sold this movie for me. But all the other cast was, Trevor, Nick, all of them were great. Even though Nick was doing that weird doggy position, that was kind of weird. But other than that, everybody did pretty good. Even the kids did a pretty good job. So I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was pretty fun. So
yeah, I mean, it's no witchery, but it's a good movie.
Oh yeah, no. But yeah, we did a fun month this month. I mean, we had a lot of good shit this month. You know what I mean? Fucking, witchery. Was it La Casas in this house and stuff like that?
Yeah.
The woman in black, very old school.
Woman in black. That was good. That was good. Yeah.
Really fun month. I enjoyed it. So of course, there's 1,000 ghost movies. So we'll definitely be coming back, talk about some ghost movies on this podcast in the near future. But everybody, the time has finally come to announce what the Retro Blood is doing this year for our anniversary, the October season 2025 of the Retro Blood. Because join us. Not only we're doing the Lights Out like we've already announced before, we're on Lights Out. We're doing on October 31st. We're talking all about Halloween H2O. We already announced that one.
Yep.
We're going to try to do Battle of the Halloween Havocs, but it's been a little tough this year, so we might get that. You might not. Be a little surprised if you do.
We'll see. You'll see.
The main course for Retro Blood, we are starting off next week. We are doing the entire Howling series out of the 1980s.
Yes, not Halloween, Howling. Yeah, we've done Halloween. Now we're doing Howling.
Now we're doing the Howling, brother. So this one's going to be very interesting because there is a shit ton of Howling movies. But I feel like this series doesn't get a lot of love for having so much history behind it.
Yeah. How many of these have you seen?
0. I haven't seen any
None of
these.
them.
None of them.
Wow.
Zero.
Okay. I can't wait for this. Then this is gonna be great.
So they're all going to be brand new to me, which is very fun. I've heard of the Howling series before, but I never actually like watched them or reviewed them before. So it's going to be very fun.
Mm.
And like I'm saying, like, I was doing my research on my, obviously there's about 4 of them in the 1980s. Okay. But there's a shit ton of out of the 80s too. And, we have films like this that I think they kind of go under the radar. I mean, obviously we have, Friday the 13th, big series. We have Nightmare on Elm Street is a big series. We have Halloween, which is a big movie series with a lot of sequels. Hell, we even have Chucky. Chucky is a big series with a lot of sequels. Puppet Master. I feel like all those get some love, but you don't really hear too much about the Howling. So I think it's gonna be very fun.
No.
And I want to see why, like, even Hellraiser. We have a bunch of Hellraisers out there too. This is in the category with them.
True.
So it's gonna be pretty fun talking about this series. So let's see what the werewolves are in store for the Retro Blood.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to see these. I'm excited about this.
So, but Alison, getting on out of here. What Judas Priest song should we play? Getting on out of here.
Man, let's play Ashland's theme song. Let's play Hellbent for Leather.
Oh yeah, he's definitely hell bent for Leather, bro. His guy is fucking. He is hell bent to get his shit back. He is hell bent to throw the naked, bloody bitches off the boat, and he is hell bent to take down this ship that don't listen to his orders.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
That's right. J.H. Alison, James Kline. We will see you here, and I'll be back in the Retro Blood Studios for the Howling. See y'all later.
It's gonna be great. See you guys.